Welcome to our story about one of the most famous ships in history, the Titanic. This legendary voyage was filled with hope, luxury, and dreams, but it ended in an unforgettable tragedy. In this video, we will explore the ship's journey, the events that led to its sinking, and the lessons the world learned from this disaster. Whether you are here to improve your English or to learn about history, this story will take you on a powerful and emotional journey across the ocean. Let's begin. The Titanic, a tragic journey. Once, a grand ship set sail across the ocean. It was the largest and most advanced of its time, built with great care and confidence. People from different backgrounds boarded, excited about the journey ahead. Some were wealthy, enjoying luxury, while others traveled with hopes for a new life. The ship moved smoothly through the calm waters. The passengers spent their days exploring, dining, and admiring the vast ocean. Everyone believed the ship was strong and unsinkable. One night, under a sky full of stars, the ship struck something massive. At first, there was confusion. Some passengers felt a small shake, while others noticed an unusual noise. Soon, the reality became clear: the ship was in danger. The crew acted quickly, but there were not enough lifeboats for everyone. As the ship began to sink, fear and panic spread. Some people found places in the lifeboats while others tried to hold on. The cold water filled the ship, and within hours, it disappeared beneath the sea. Many lives were lost, and the world mourned. The event changed the way ships were built, making safety a priority. Today, people remember the ship's story as a lesson about human ambition, nature's power, and the importance of being prepared. Summary of the story. This story tells about a great ship that set sail with passengers from different backgrounds. While traveling across the ocean, it struck an obstacle at night and began sinking. Many passengers struggled to survive, but the ship ultimately disappeared beneath the sea. The tragedy led to improvements in ship safety regulations. Events in the story. 1. A grand ship begins its journey with hopeful passengers. 2. People enjoy their time on board, believing the ship is unsinkable. 3. The ship strikes an obstacle at night. 4. Panic spreads as the ship begins to sink. 5. Lifeboats are not enough for everyone. 6. The ship disappears into the ocean, leaving behind great loss and lessons. Central event. The central event in the story is when the ship strikes an obstacle and starts sinking. This moment changes everything for the passengers and crew, leading to fear, survival struggles, and a tragic ending. Literary analysis. Theme. The story explores themes of human ambition, nature's power, and tragedy. Tone. The tone remains neutral, describing the events without bias or exaggeration. Symbolism. The ship represents human innovation, while the ocean represents the unpredictability of nature. Foreshadowing. The belief that the ship is unsinkable hints at the coming disaster. Rhetorical and artistic devices. Imagery. Descriptions of the ocean, stars, and sinking ship create vivid mental pictures. Contrast. The luxurious beginning contrasts with the tragic end. Personification. The ocean is described as powerful and overwhelming, as if it has control over the ship. Repetition. The ship was strong and unsinkable is repeated to emphasize false confidence. The importance of the story. The story of the Titanic is more than just a historical event. It carries valuable lessons and deep meaning for people around the world. A lesson in human ambition and limitations. The Titanic was seen as a symbol of human achievement and technological progress. People believed it was unsinkable, but nature proved otherwise. This reminds us that no matter how advanced we become, we must remain humble and prepared for the unexpected. The importance of safety and preparedness. The tragedy led to major improvements in maritime safety. After the disaster, new laws required ships to have enough lifeboats for all passengers and better emergency protocols. The Titanic's story continues to influence modern safety regulations. A story of human courage and sacrifice. During the sinking, many passengers and crew showed great bravery, helping others, giving up their seats in lifeboats, and doing everything they could to save lives. These acts of heroism remind us of the strength of the human spirit in times of crisis. Cultural and historical significance. The Titanic's story has inspired books, movies, and discussions for over a century. It remains one of the most well-known events in history, teaching new generations about the power of nature, the risks of overconfidence, and the value of life. A powerful tool for learning. Reading and listening to stories like the Titanic helps learners improve their English by expanding vocabulary, understanding storytelling techniques, and developing critical thinking skills. The story's emotional depth makes it engaging and memorable for learners of all levels. By remembering the Titanic, we not only honor those who lost their lives but also gain wisdom that helps us build a safer and more thoughtful world. Reasons for the Titanic's widespread fame. The story of the Titanic has remained one of the most well-known and discussed tragedies in history. Several key factors have contributed to its global recognition and lasting impact. The scale of the tragedy. The Titanic was one of the largest and most luxurious ships of its time, and its sudden sinking led to the loss of over 1,500 lives. The sheer number of casualties and the dramatic circumstances made the disaster unforgettable. The unsinkable myth. Before its maiden voyage, the Titanic was advertised as unsinkable. This belief created shock and disbelief when the ship sank, making the tragedy even more dramatic and widely discussed. Human stories of heroism and tragedy. The disaster was not just about a sinking ship, it was about people. Stories of bravery, sacrifice, and survival, such as passengers giving up their lifeboat seats for others, captured the world's attention and emotions. Media coverage at the time. Newspapers around the world reported the sinking with dramatic headlines. The public followed the story closely, and the tragedy became one of the first major disasters to be widely covered in global media. Impact on maritime safety. The Titanic disaster led to significant changes in ship safety regulations, such as requiring enough lifeboats for all passengers and constant radio communication. This long-term impact kept the story relevant in discussions about safety and preparedness. Books, movies, and documentaries. The Titanic has been the subject of countless books, films, and documentaries. The most famous adaptation, the 1997 movie Titanic, introduced the story to new generations and became one of the highest-grossing films of all time. The mystery and exploration. The Titanic wreck remained undiscovered for decades, adding an element of mystery. When it was finally found in 1985, underwater images fascinated the world, renewing interest in the ship and its story. Symbolism of human ambition and nature's power. The Titanic represents both human innovation and the limits of control over nature. Its story is often used as a reminder of overconfidence and the need for humility and preparedness in all aspects of life. Because of these factors, the Titanic story continues to capture the imagination of people worldwide, making it one of the most enduring historical events ever recorded. How English can be developed through international stories. Vocabulary building. Reading international stories introduces learners to new words related to history, travel, and emotions. Listening skills. Hearing such stories in spoken English helps learners with pronunciation and intonation. Grammar and structure. Simple and clear sentence structures help learners understand storytelling techniques. Cultural awareness. Exploring global stories gives insight into history and different perspectives. Critical thinking. Discussing themes and messages in stories improves comprehension and analytical skills. Reading and listening to international stories like the Titanic helps learners improve their English while understanding important historical events and life lessons.